Pregame.com.
The Green Bay Packers, 6.5-point home favorites over Detroit, total 51.5. And I'm going to say this with sour grapes mixed in, guys. If you are going to back Detroit, you've got to learn that you're not only going up against their opponents, but themselves. Talk about brainiacs, huh? I mean, these guys are knuckleheads between the ears. You've got what we heard about Titus Young sabotaging the offense a couple of weeks ago because he was miffed. What does Jim Schwartz do? He doesn't kick him off the team. He says he's still a part of the family. It's all good. You got Ndamukong Suh, who goes from ass kicker to jackass from the time he goes from college to pro. It's just a mess, and you never know what time or what part of the game, whether it's a close game, whether it's a key spot of the game, when one of these guys is going to just blow a fuse and cost his team 15 important yards. Anyway, Marco, I'm going to throw this one to you.
Oh, thanks. This is a great game to throw to me. You know? This is a situation, you know, it's Sunday Night Football. Somebody's got to win it, but this Detroit Lion team, if this wasn't a Sunday night game, I would be ready to fire with both hands on the Green Bay Packers. The fact that it is a Sunday night game, you're going to get the Lions maybe 1 week that they're going to show up again. But I got to think after the last 3 weeks, the way they've lost their games, that's when you stick a fork in a team. This team has to be done. I mean, their season's over. They've invented new ways to lose football games. And at the end of the game, the last play of the game last week against Indianapolis, you've got 3 Lion defenders standing 2 yards in the end zone watching the guy run to them. Go tackle the guy. Don't wait for him to get to the goal line, for God's sake.
They were on Titus Young's side of it.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know about this team. But a quick stat, if you're a totals guy, and I'm not playing, my play's not in the totals, but the Lions on the road, 13 of their last 15 games have gone over the total. If you're a little trend freak there, I'll give you that one.
Well, here's the thing. If you look at the Lions, they are that close, to use that again. They are that close to being, 7-5 rather than 4-8 right now, because they've blown these leads in the last minutes 3 different times this season. But you look at Green Bay, and the reason I'm having a hard time jumping in on the Packers here, you got an injury list that it reads like a Leo Tolstoy novel. There's no doubt about it. And I'm talking about Matthews, who's questionable also for this game, Woodson. If one or both, especially Matthews, doesn't play in this game, that defense is so messy that it makes up for some of the crap that's going on right now by the Detroit offense. We saw Green Bay, their defense, get no pass rush a few times when Matthews has been out. We've seen them look discombobulated, like they don't know where they're supposed to be pre-snap at times so far in the NFL when Matthews and Woodson aren't on the field. So it really makes it tough for me to jump in, throw my money down to the Green Bay Packers laying points, Steve.
Not to mention, you look at Adrian Peterson, and Christian Ponder can't even throw the ball down the field. All he can do is scramble. He just got engaged. That's wonderful. That's good timing on him, Pop the question before he gets benched, More likely she'll say yes. So congratulations to him. But the fact that Green Bay gives up 200 yards rushing when there's no pass threat means the red flags are blinking here. And as far as Marco's over, I will say this is an example where the old school pros, they see that total starts with a 5 in the 50s. They got to play under. They're already playing under 52. It's in Lambeau.
Not what it used to be.
It's going to be below 30 degrees, and they say historically the past 15 years this is a 60% play. Never mind, Detroit's a dead nuts over team, and I think they're going to lose. I think the total closes 49.5, maybe play over at that point in time. But I do have a free pick that involves this game. Who's the best team in the NFC right now, gentlemen?
Yeah, I would like to say the Giants for this reason. When they are focused, so there's that little, if they are focused, I think they beat anybody in the league, seriously. But judging whether they're going to be focused. But here's the thing about the Giants, and I said this back in August and September, this is one of those teams that they piss everybody off all season long. They go 9-7. Next thing you know, they're playing for the championship. They're in the Super Bowl. So I think they've got the talent around them, but they also have the brain freezes like we saw last game when they're not throwing the ball on first down, when they're doing nothing but running against a team that can't cover the pass and can't rush the quarterback. They're odd. That's what I want to say. But to me, that's the best team with the best chance in the NFC.
Oh, I agree with you. Giants, when they come, they're the best. But, San Francisco, I would have said them the best in the NFC. But prior to, this quarterback shuffle, I think they should have stayed with Alex Smith and then had that ace up your sleeve that you could have went to Kaepernick if you needed to. But, I have an idea where you're going with your question. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, in the AFC, we could have the same debate, and we could land on New England, we could land on Houston, we could land on Denver. And my point is I got all 3 teams power rated better than any team in the NFC, except possibly the Giants. And at 7-5, there's no lock the Giants can even get into the NFC Championship game. Bet the AFC at Pick'em right now in the Super Bowl. If Atlanta comes and they could get through with home field advantage, and Marco
after this week's loss,
Carolina. But even with the loss, they got a 2.5 game lead. They could make it, and if so, you could be staring at New England -5.
Sure, good stuff. Marco, your free pick.
All right, guys, Sunday Night Football, we're going to go with the Green Bay Packers. And I generally don't like to take a marquee team like the Green Bay Packers on a primetime game because you're generally going to pay a price for it. But here's the situation. I don't like the Lions. They're a dysfunctional family. Schwartz got to go, bad coach. But I'm looking at the Green Bay Packers. The last time they played prime time 2 weeks ago, Sunday Night Football, they got housed. They were taken out behind the woodshed and beaten by the New York Giants in an absolutely perfect game. And to me, honestly, it looked like Green Bay quit in the second half. They didn't try. They're going to bring it on Sunday. I like the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, Mr. Primetime, he had his bad game. Look for him to light up the Lions this time around. They should have lost the first time in Detroit. Different story today. They got the win. They're going to be focused today. I've got them winning this game 35-24. Yeah, that means I'm leaning to the over as well. Take Green Bay, lay the points on Sunday.
A twofer. Steve says AFC, get them now at pick 'em in the Super Bowl over the NFC. And Marco, you went with the Detroit Lions, both hands. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. He goes with the Green Bay Packers and says lay the points. When we come back, we got one more game before we cap off Week 14. That's the Monday night matchup between Houston and New England. Stick around right here at pregame.tv.